Okay guys, so it's Thursday morning. I'm here in Sapulpa, Oklahoma at Real Alloy. I picked up here once as a Maverick flatbedder and hauled those aluminum ingots there. But this is the first time I've picked up for Oakley. And I'm getting these aluminum cones. You've seen me haul these before out of a place up in Indiana. Just these little cone shapes of aluminum. And it's going to Big River Steel in Osceola, Arkansas. And you can see my loader Brent there. He's already put 2 scoops in the front, and this will be the second scoop going in the back. And then we're going to kind of finish off in the middle. He said it'd probably take 6 or 7 scoops. Looks like so far each scoop is weighing about 5,000 to 6,000 pounds. Well, that sun is going to be in your eyes, but I'll give you a look at it. Kind of noisy. So that's the 4th scoop. It's just a matter, I'm watching my gauges and we'll try to balance it out here towards the end. And then they got a scale over there, right over there. So when I leave here, I think I've got to go around that way, and there's a turnaround down at the end of the property, come back, because I won't be able to make this turn to get on the scale. And then the scale office is right outside the gate there. So all right, that's it. All right folks, so Brent has loaded me up pretty close according to my scales. I told him I could probably take about 1/3 of a scoop towards the front of the trailer, but he didn't want to overload me, so he told me to get on the scale, and if I still need some, he can bring it and dump it in while I'm on the scale. So what I'm doing now is they've got this little turnaround lot here at the end of the property, and obviously where they've parked some trailers. So I'm just doing a turnaround. They're going to go back to the scale, because there's not enough room to make the turn back there and get on the scale. It's kind of a tight place. Like I said, this load goes to Big River Steel in Osceola, Arkansas. I've delivered there a couple of times. I think I've delivered some of this product that I picked up in Indiana. And then I delivered there about a month ago some scrap metal. So I'm giving you a look of the place. As you could see earlier, they make those aluminum ingots here, which I picked up a couple years ago as a Maverick driver. I picked up a load of ingots here. I remember, man, that was a hot day in the summer. It was hot. It's a tough securement load too, these ingots. They'll put 7 or 8 piles of ingots on your trailer, and then you got to secure them. Yeah, out in the 100-degree sun on an August afternoon, it's kind of tough. Anyway. You can see some of the stuff up to the right here. They got some scrap pieces over here, and then you see the ingots here on the right. But here's the scale. We're just going to hop on the scale, and hopefully I can hear the lady on the CB, and we'll see what she says. Maybe get a little more. And then there's the entry and exit gate up ahead there. I don't think I can see my weight out here. I don't see a display. I think you just have to get it from the lady in the office. All right, more later. Okay guys, so I've gotten outside the property here. Here's the load, just giving you a look. I've got to put my bows back over and then roll my tarp up. Just giving you a look at the load. I weighed 46,700. net for product, so that's good. Okay folks, Well, I'm at Big River Steel here in Osceola, Arkansas. Just pulled through the main gate back there and checked in. It's a big place. And I'm supposed to go to door 25. Now, I used to pick up steel coils here quite often when I was flatbedding for Maverick. I've only delivered here over in this area once before, so I'm kind of going on a vague memory. And then they have a little kind of a port facility on back further there. The Mississippi River is just over there beyond the trees, and they have a lot of the scrap metal deliveries go back there. They have a big area back there where you deliver scrap metal, which I've done a couple of times. So I think door 25 is going to be up here to the right, hopefully. It's looking familiar. I barely got here in time. They told me that if I got here and got checked in through the gate by 5:30, I could make the delivery today, and it's just a few minutes before 5 now, so worked out all right. I picked up this load in Sapulpa, Oklahoma this morning. Drove all the way over here today. Only stopped a 2 or 3 times just for, like 5 minutes. Well, I did stop and get fuel one time, but I didn't lollygag. Okay, 25. So I'm thinking where I have to dump this is, oh, there it is, door 25. That's what they call it, but this whole area is what they consider door 25. So I'll give you a shot here. And I got to get my boots on and my hard hat and stuff, and then see exactly where they want me to deliver it. Oh, there's a guy over here right now. See this fella here, he's been waving his arms. I think he wants me to deliver into one of these bins. I'll stop and see what he says. Hang on. Okay guys, I'm gonna show you this real quick. I don't have a lot of time because they're ready to close up, but I did it just swing door. You can see it's dumped out real clean. I don't even have to sweep it out. But here's my load. Right there, aluminum cones. So, all right, let me get things put up and get my tarp back on and go find a place to park. Okay guys, so I'm here in Sheridan, Arkansas at Premier Sand. I'm getting some white sand to take to a golf course in Topeka, Kansas. They just put the first scoop in there. Place is kind of hard to get to. It's just out in the middle of nowhere. But it's got some pretty white sand. So let's watch him here get a load. He's supposed to be shooting for 23¼ tons. I told him my scales won't work too good out here. It's not very level and it's soft, so I'm not going to trust my scales too much, but he said he can tell with his, and then I'll have to scale out up there. He said they're usually pretty close. So let's give you another shot of this. He put the first scoop kind of up toward the front. So I guess this is going to be bunker sand on a golf course in Topeka, Kansas. So that's how it works. So it's Friday morning. So once I get this loaded, I'm just going to go back to the Oakley, North Little Rock yard, and I'm going to plan on leaving out Sunday afternoon, probably mid-afternoon. I'd like to get, you know, maybe 3 or 4 hours of the trip done Sunday, get it delivered Monday. I'll have to call them and kind of get directions and make sure of the timing of the delivery. But that's how it works here. Premier Sand, Sheridan, Arkansas. I tell you, man, coming in here, they got some, you know, places where obviously they've dug out sand in the previous years. Looks like some good fishing holes now. See one back in there. They're all over the place. Big place. Anyway, all right, more later. All right, folks. So we find ourselves back at the entrance to the Oakley, North Little Rock yard. I wanted to show you in a minute something that's going on here. So I picked up this load of sand down in Sheridan, Arkansas a little while ago. You know, it's about an hour's drive from where I picked up this load to here. But if you look straight ahead there, you can see they're demolishing. That's an old fertilizer storage warehouse that they're, I don't know if they're going to totally tear it down or they're just taking down the top part of it and going to rebuild. Kind of looks like they plan on doing something else with it, because they didn't tear down all the rafters and stuff. They just removed the roof. But anyway, they've been working on that for a few weeks. They've built a new one back over here to the left, so I don't know what they're gonna do with this. But anyway, just giving you a shot of that, kind of tearing that down. So I'm gonna go over here and try to find me a parking spot. There's the main office straight ahead there. Alright, there's somebody to the left that's got a truck like mine. There's quite a few of them around here. Let's see. Alright, I'm gonna have to go down here and turn around. Alright, I'll get back to you. Okay guys, hey. It's Sunday morning again, and I just wanted to make a few comments here to finish up this last video of the week. I made a few notes here. You know, I was commenting over the last couple of weeks about the some of the problems I had with my truck, because a lot of you guys have sent me messages or emails about, you know, the process of getting a truck, buying a truck, problems I've had, and I've talked about some of those. And my first week out was kind of a troubling week for me, because, you know, I just bought the truck, really hadn't spent that much time with it, hadn't driven it much, and had a few problems. I already mentioned, you know, I had the headlight go out, I had the defroster stop working, and then like the, you know, this is stuff I'm remembering from the first week out, like with my trainer. You know, and when you're training at Oakley, you know, you're in your truck, your trainer's in his truck, her truck, and you're just shadowing each other, right? So that's what we were doing. But on our way home for the weekend, that first week, you know, like on Thursday or Friday, my check engine light came on, and then, you know, it gives you that little wrench signal, and then the check engine light. So I called the MHC dealership here in town and kind of made an appointment to get it in there, which I did, you know, on that Friday afternoon when we got back into town. They checked it out, and the problem with that was, and I failed to mention this last week when I was talking about this, what they call a NOx sensor. And I had thought until recently, all along, that that was covered by my extended warranty that I purchased with the truck. But turns out that Aero Truck Sales covered that, which is where I bought the truck. And I only learned that a few weeks ago when I was talking to one of the MHC guys about something else, and he was looking through my history and mentioned that. So I thought that was covered under the warranty, but really, since that was my first week out in the truck, I think MHC just talked to the guys up at Aero, and they covered it, you know. So thanks, Aero. And that's also when I discovered, you know, that I didn't have a bunk heater. Now it was a couple of weeks before I got that fixed, but it was during that same visit to MHC that I learned that there was no bunk heater. You know, I got all the controls and everything for a bunk heater, but the actual piece that's under the bunk that generates the heat was gone. And again, Aero paid to have that repair, but they didn't want to do it at the MHC dealership. They had me go to the Thermo King dealership here, right in North Little Rock. You know, it's convenient. But I did that the following weekend, you know, and it was a pretty quick fix. You know, I just had to take the truck out there, you know, leave it for a couple of hours, and they got it done. So those were a couple things that Aero did for me early on that, you know, they took care of that. I didn't have to pay anything, but I forgot to mention that previously. Let's see, what else? More recently, like just 2-3 weeks ago, I had discovered, it was probably longer than that, probably more like a month ago, I had discovered I had a little minor leak around, you know, my oil pan. I thought it maybe was the drain plug, something wrong with the drain plug. So again, got it into the MHC dealership one weekend after I got back in town, and turns out it was just a little tiny hairline pinhole crack in the oil pan. And you know, these oil pans are plastic. I mean, there is a metal version you can get that's more expensive, but typically they're plastic. And I've had other drivers tell me, you know, that have Kenworths or Peterbilts, that, you know, over time they just crack. You don't have to like run into anything or do anything wrong, they just crack. So that was covered under warranty. You know, I had that finally repaired about 2 weeks ago, and it wasn't a major thing, but you know, when I was parked, there would be a little bit of oil dripped out, you know, like a couple of tablespoons of oil. So I just kept checking my oil frequently and adding a little here and there to make sure I had adequate oil, but wasn't a big deal. But the NTP extended warranty I bought with the truck did cover that, so I had to pay the deductible, and then they covered the replacement of the oil pan. And I also had a PM done at that time, you know, a complete oil change, filters, all of that, because it was time for it anyway. So those are some things that I forgot to mention earlier. So, you know, that's you know, the big difference in just being an employee driver like I was with Maverick and an owner operator now, you know, is that I have to keep up with the truck and keep it running and get it to the shop or do the work. You know, it's different. So wanted to mention those things. And then I made a note here. I wanted to mention, I was talking to another Oakley driver the other day, and we, you know, we're both happy with Oakley. We like driving for Oakley. This other driver I've talked to, he's been with Oakley for a couple of years. You know, I'm kind of 6 months in, happy with the change. like everything. But he asked me, you know, what is there anything you don't like about Oakley? And really the only thing that came to mind there was the truck wash facilities. And I'm talking about like at the Oakley North Little Rock yard. Now I don't want to say this wrong, because the crew, the guys at the truck wash do a great job. They work very hard and they do great work. What I'm talking about is the capacity of the truck wash. You know, they've got a truck wash there that has 3 bays, but the 3rd bay is, my understanding is, only used for hopper bottom trailer washouts. So the problem is they really need more, you know, a bigger truck wash with more bays, because what happens is almost every time I try to go in there and get a trailer washout or a truck wash, it's, you know, there's many trucks in line, you know, and you end up waiting an hour and a half or 2.5 hours, you know, to get your truck washed. Perfect example, about a week ago, I was supposed to be picking up a load of roofing granules here in Little Rock, and I was going to get a trailer washout. Dispatcher actually told me I probably should do that, which is normal when you're getting roofing granules. They want to make sure your trailer's clean when you're hauling roofing granules. So, you know, I was coming out after a dental appointment, so I was kind of getting a late start. So I thought, well, you know, I'm gonna have plenty of time. You know, I got out of my dental appointment about 9 a.m. and went straight out to the yard to get ready to hit the road. But my pickup appointment for my load was at 1:20, so I had plenty of time there. And I thought, well, I'll just go out to the yard, you know, get my truck ready, get all my stuff moved into the truck, do my inspection, and I'll have plenty of time. I'll go over, even if I have to wait, I'll have plenty of time to get the trailer washed out. And I was going to get my truck washed too. So I go over there, I get in line. There was probably 10 trucks in line, right? You know, 3 bays. There's 10 or so trucks in line. And I waited in line about probably 2 hours, maybe more than that. And I got pulled in. Finally, I got pulled into the truck wash. And then it was like, you know, I don't know, what was it? 11:45, 12 o'clock, something like that. 11:30, somewhere in that area. So they took a 30-minute lunch break. As soon as I got pulled into the wash bay, they took a lunch break. Which, hey, they deserve a lunch break, no problem there. But what that did is that made it, I had to decide at that point, did I want to try to wait that out and get my truck wash done, and because that was going to push me getting to the, you know, by the time they would have got back from lunch, it was going to be like 12:30ish, 12:45 maybe. So I was pushing maybe being late to get to my pickup appointment for my load, you know. So I decided, well, I hated to do it because I'd waited in line for 2.5 hours. I thought, I don't want to risk being late for my load, so I left. I ended up just getting my blower out, because my trailer wasn't that dirty really. I was able to just blow it out. I'd already swept it out, but I got back there, took my tarp off, opened it up, and just blew it out. It was fine, it was clean, it wasn't a problem. But I was going to get my truck washed too, but I had to abandon that just because it took so long. And I had a load appointment, you know, at 1:20. So, but that's really the frustrating thing. And this other driver I was talking to echoed the same sentiments. You know, it's just, it takes so long usually to stop in there and get a truck wash. You know, I mean, you know, and I've had dispatchers in the past tell me, you know, like if I'm passing through North Little Rock, like on I-40, you know, just to pop into the yard and get your trailer washed out. Well, that's usually not the case. You know, you're not just popping in, you know, like for 30 minutes to get your trailer washed out. You know, it might take 2 or 3 hours. So that's kind of frustrating. You know, for as many trucks as are around that yard, you know, because they have lots of, you know, we have hopper bottoms, end dumps, pneumatic tankers, and the pneumatic tankers too. When they're in the line for a wash, it's a long time. You know, it's a pretty thorough job to get a pneumatic tanker washed out. That takes about an hour to get one of those trucks done. So, you know, it's just the capacity of the truck wash needs to be expanded, in my opinion, just because it's so time consuming. You know, they could use twice the capacity they have now, you know, just for the sake of saving the drivers time and speeding things up, you know. So that's really, you know, I'm going into this a lot, and I don't want to sound like I'm whining, but I'm not. You know, I'm just saying that this is one thing that I thought of as a negative so far in my 6 months at Oakley that it's kind of frustrating. You know, it's just the time spent at the truck, getting the truck washed there at the Oakley North Little Rock yard. Now, getting trailer washouts, you know, Oakley has accounts set up at, you know, like Blue Beacons and lots of other truck washes where you can stop in and get a truck or trailer wash. I mean, I have to pay for the truck wash, but Oakley pays for the trailer washouts when you need one. And you know, they have accounts set up where, you know, you just charge it to Oakley. All right, they pay for it. If it's a place you stop at to get a trailer washout and they don't have an account set up, you can pay for it. You know, usually it's anywhere from $50 to $65. Sometimes, I have paid as little as maybe $46. So, you know, you may have to pay for that and then submit the paperwork with your, you know, weekly paperwork, and Oakley will reimburse you. So that's how it works if you're curious. But yeah, the truck wash is on you. You know, as an owner operator, you got to take care of that. Even at the Oakley North Little Rock yard, if you have them wash your truck, and they do a great job, the price is great. You know, they only charge you about $46, as I remember, to wash your truck. And typically, you know, if you just stop and have that done out in the field somewhere, you know, you're going to pay. I've paid anywhere from $50 to $65. It's pretty normal. There are some that are even higher than that, but that's pretty normal right there. Okay, so enough of that. The load I have now, I picked up Friday morning, about an hour from, about 45 minutes from North Little Rock down in Sheridan, Arkansas. It's some white sand that I'm delivering Monday to the Topeka, Kansas Country Club. So kind of interesting. I've already called the number I had for the country club and kind of gave them an estimate as to when I might be there, although I told them I would call them Monday morning after I have a better time frame estimate. They didn't really care. They said they're open basically from sun up to sundown, but you know, just helps them out so they can have somebody there to kind of guide me through. Let's see, what else was it? And I forget what else I was going to say there, but I'm at this point, you know, I'm going to try to leave out mid-afternoon today and try to get, you know, 3 or 4 hours down the road so I can get that load delivered, you know, Monday, you know, before lunch. And then maybe I might have enough time to get somewhere else and get a load. That'd be great. So So that's kind of the plan. It's about an 8-hour drive from North Little Rock, so plan on getting hopefully about halfway this evening, and then make that delivery Monday. You know, I need to get a good week going. You know, I could leave out Monday. You know, we talked about this last week. I could leave out Monday morning early and get that delivered. You know, if I wanted to extend my weekend, for example, this is where, you know, I'm talking about that freedom of when you deliver as compared to how it worked with Maverick. You know, Maverick had a 10 a.m. Monday delivery deadline. It's not that way with Oakley. So if I needed to kind of have a longer weekend this particular weekend, I could leave out Monday morning with that and still get it delivered and be okay. But I'm gonna go ahead and leave today and kind of get a good healthy week going, you know, get a good paycheck this week. Because last week, actually the last couple of weeks will be kind of under average on my income because you know, had that dental appointment, you know, that I mean, I didn't even get started last week until, like I mentioned, I had a 1:20 p.m. pickup time. So, you know, I didn't even get started till Monday afternoon, and then I got home Friday morning. So that's going to be a you know, shorter week. I still had over 20 hours left on my work clock, probably more like 25 hours on my 70-hour clock. But this sand load that I'm going to deliver tomorrow, I'll get that delivered Monday and then send in my paperwork, and that trip will hit on you know, last week's miles, you know, the next paycheck we get. So that's a cool thing too. So that'll help. But yeah, I just want to get a good week going. Having that dental appointment kind of got me off to a slow start this week, and it kept me from getting a, you know, like a preload to end the previous week, you know, because I wouldn't be able to get it delivered early on Monday. The dispatcher just didn't have a load for me that I could, well, he had a load that I could have got Friday, the previous Friday, and then delivered it Monday morning. But since I had that dental appointment, it kind of messed up the delivery window, so I ended up just being empty. So, you know, stuff like that impacts your weeks, your loads. So, you know, taking off to go to the doctor or whatever, it costs you miles, unfortunately. Okay, let's see what else. I've been talking for too long here. I think that's it. So we'll get started with that sand load later today, and we'll see how that goes. More later.